Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Desk. And today we're going to be talking about our business here in the States and what we're doing to prepare to live a life in Colombia. Hello, my dear.
Hola, mi amor.
Hola. So how are we doing?
I am a little warm at the moment.
Warm? Yeah, no, it got warm this week.
I am so happy that we now have some spring weather here in Michigan.
Spring has sprung.
It's about time.
Yeah, no kidding. I went to the chamber office today and
Yeah.
I drove with the windows down.
Wasn't it nice?
Sunroof open. It was fantastic. Sunglasses on.
By the way, your hair looks really nice.
Thanks.
I think you're looking pretty hot, babe.
Oh, thanks,
Yeah.
babe.
Mine'll be done tomorrow.
It looks
Why
great.
it's up.
I like it when it's just, it's in its place. Do you think? Yeah.
Biased.
So we're going to be talking about a couple of different things. Let's do a quick little 90-second recap on Sadie. Things are going well with her. Yep.
Well, the training today, she was terrible, but
That's
Sadie's
okay.
now able to get out and walk a little bit and do some things. So she needs some time to get her muscles in check and lose some weight.
Yeah, we were out with her yesterday. We did a bunch of stuff. We went to
Yeah.
Home Depot, just did some field trip training, and she did fine, but she also was conked out. She slept the entire rest of the night.
She was exhausted.
Exhausted.
And she's tired right now.
Yeah. And so we'll get her metabolism kicked back up.
Yeah.
All that good stuff. But yeah, she's doing well. Training is what it is. We've got 12. So we wrote down all of the words that she has in her vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
She has 12, and we have 3 more we're going to be working in.
Well, she has a lot, but they're not part of her training. She has
so 3 commands.
Yes.
12 commands.
Yes.
Huge vocabulary.
Yes.
3 additional commands are coming. But today we are going to be chatting a little bit about business and what we're doing here in the States to prepare our business, Ever Studios, to be able to live remotely.
Yeah.
And we've touched on this on a couple of different episodes in the past, but I think today what we're going to do is dive into the actual inner workings of what we do.
Yeah.
Rather than just like, hey, we do websites. Hey, we do SEO. We're going to talk about what it looks like in order to set up our business so that it's poised for remote
Right.
work.
But one celebration, we have a new client.
Yes, we do.
So
we
that's
do have
exciting.
a new client.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a new nonprofit. We've been, as we're going to talk about some of the things we've been doing around the area to grow our business, we also have a couple in the works that will be hopefully closing and onboarding very soon as well.
One in May. We'll have one closing in May.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Very exciting. First thing we're going to talk about is networking and client building strategies. So one of the things that's been the roller coaster for us is figuring out what does our business need in order to be successful, and then where do we go in? What is our role? Because for the longest time, this business has been in addition to full-time gigs.
Yeah.
I had a corporate job with a big company. You worked.
I had a corporate job,
and then your nonprofit. Like it's always, they've always been the back burner.
Sure.
Now they are
front and center because we made the choice to do that.
Right. And so it's no longer just this is bonus money to buy 12 pairs of shoes. This is now sustainability money. Right.
We had fun. Yeah.
We had fun. Yeah. And honestly, if we didn't buy all the shoes and clothes when we did,
well,
things would be very different now, right?
We're grinding now.
We're grinding now. So let's talk about 2 things that we're doing really solid right now when it comes to networking and client building strategies. So maximizing our Chamber of Commerce events.
Yes.
First of all, it's been in our blood for years to be members of Chamber of Commerce.
You introduced me to Chamber.
Yeah, I've been.
Chambers.
So with my corporate gig, we had locations in multiple states. So we had Chamber of Commerce memberships, and our goal with that was to have a ribbon cutting and get some press around that.
Sure.
I took it several steps further about.
You're right. 2.
It sounded
further 2.
It sounded off in my head. Further to start building relationships and becoming the obvious choice when people need our services.
Because bottom line, you and I know this, it's all about relationships.
It is.
Building trust, being the solution.
There's businesses that their backbone is just cold calling and lead generation. And here's the thing, that may work in volume, but when you're talking about two people running a business, capacity doesn't exist to be able to do that.
And we want to get to know our clients. We really want to have um, that relationship where there's communication. They have an issue, they call us up, we're available. Like, we can take care of it
Correct. Yeah.
as quickly as we can. Like, that's the kind
Yeah.
of.
One of our core things is that we want to support the businesses
Mhm.
that otherwise might not have a fighting chance.
Absolutely.
So for us, that's a really important piece. And that's why we focus our businesses around nonprofits, mom and pop shops, the everyday business, not these huge corporations with 500 employees. That's not our target.
Right.
Could we onboard one of those and probably set ourselves up?
Right.
Probably, but would we be fulfilling our mission? Maybe not as
Yeah.
like we'd want to. So maximizing Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce gives us the opportunity to get in front of exactly those folks, the everyday insurance person, the person who's got a restaurant that has been in their family for 3 decades, right? That's who our target is. And so we participate pretty heavily
We do.
with our chambers.
Every week.
We have we have 3 active chambers right now. We had a 4th. It was a little bit further out of our area, so we made the decision to pause on that one and
really focus on the
focus
3
on the
that
ones
are
around us. Yeah.
really local.
And attending events. So we sit down and do our calendar every single month, and it just is. I'm looking at it right now. It's just, although
Bonkers,
there's a trend on Fridays. So how we gave ourselves Fridays off, jam packed with stuff, nonstop. But what that does is it gives us that opportunity to get in front of, have conversations, set up follow-ups, and say, listen, what are you working on right now and how can we help?
Absolutely.
Because if they're working on something and we can help facilitate growth there, that's why we do this.
It is, right? Helping somebody get on that first page with Google, that's huge for them.
Right. And here's the thing, most of our clients are in industries where their competitors, if you will, the other people who are doing business just like them, are not doing this, which gives us a really good opportunity to get them ranking quickly.
Right.
Right.
I mean, look what you just did for that massage therapy business.
Yep. I did a 90-day recap. We took her. She had a total of 3 keywords. 2 of them were variations of her business, and everything else was ranking less than 100 on Google. Currently, she has over 300 keywords that she's ranking for, and she's ranking number 1 for more than half of them. Top 10 first page for the majority of them, and there's only a couple outliers.
It's insane. The data was just insane when you pulled it up.
And like, I can at a glance look at that at any given time and see, okay, we're doing well.
Right.
But to take a step back and say, what happened between January and today?
Those
and
30 or those 90 days.
Curve just go like that. And then understand why. And then you go back and look at it and you say, okay, this is what we did. This was the result. And now we can adapt that and, put that into other clients. Go back and revisit some of her posts and then update them.
Let's be real. Massage therapy is a pretty saturated market.
It is.
And she was able.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
the other thing
great.
about massage therapy, they're very great with working with their hands, but when it comes to tech, most of them don't want to deal with that stuff.
No, or they don't know how.
Which is exactly why we do what we do.
Sure.
So events. Yeah. Huge opportunity for us to get in front of folks. And so we budget our time. We make sure we're showing up to coffee events. We make sure we're showing up to, large gatherings like state of the, community events. We are a trustee sponsor with one of our chambers, which means we get access to all of the events. And we set up and connect with folks there. So, we're really embedding ourselves in these communities.
Yeah. Shout out to Auburn Hills Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah. Great team over there. Leveraging online networking. So that's the in-person part. Now we'll talk about a little bit about the online side. So from an SEO point of view, because we do websites, SEO, and digital marketing.
Yeah.
From an SEO point of view, posting on social media does not make your website rank.
No.
Okay. It just has, they're disconnected, but there's a piece to SEO called user experience that plays a huge role. So imagine you've got 2 websites, they have identical information, but one of the articles has pictures, the other doesn't. User experience says, I'm going to stay over here longer because I have an emotional connection with the content that's there, where this one doesn't. Social media acts as that when they're not on your website. So you can post something on social media and it's not going to get you sales. It's not going to boost your ranking, but it is going to play to the user experience of your business,
Sure.
which means somebody may find you on Google and then check out your social media to see if you're relevant.
Which is
Somebody,
important. It's an
somebody,
important piece.
right.
Yeah.
You may have a weekly Friday experience where you bring people into your business and what it is you do. And every Friday you post something that's buying trust with them
Right.
because you're creating content that resonates with them. And then when the time is right, you're going to be the obvious choice for them. So social media absolutely has a place when it comes to business growth in the digital world, but don't get it twisted. It will not drive direct sales. Not at, I mean, there are businesses that will do paid ads and they're in e-commerce. There's some instances where that's the case. But for our clients, the everyday person who's a mom and pop shop, it's not going to drive business, not at any significant amount, but it is still important.
Sure.
So we do that. We make sure that we are posting our content
Right.
on social media on a regular cadence as well. Because if somebody is thinking about, because we'll post stuff like, here's some tips as a photographer on how to grow your business, right? We'll do 5 things you can do your website today to grow your photography business. If somebody's a photographer and they see that post on social media, if they click over and then start consuming that content, if the time is right for them to purchase, who are they thinking of? They're thinking of us because we offered something of value
Right.
to them. So it definitely has a place.
And we help people across the United States, not just in Michigan as well.
Right. So virtual / digital marketing still has a place when it comes to social media, but it should be a complement or a catalyst to
Yes.
your website and the work that you do there.
So
And so we're doing that with our business.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so how is that going to affect us in Colombia?
Yeah, so it shouldn't affect us. We did testing when we were there. All of the social media platforms work. We have a
Yes.
VPN, which allows us to mimic as if we were in the United
Mhm.
States while we're abroad. I tested all of our tools. Everything works as expected. So
Internet was great.
internet
Where
was
we
great.
were.
Yep, and I expect that to be.
Katie, she's moving the light
I
here.
expect that to be not a problem no matter where we are.
Okay.
And we'll adapt as we need to. But one of the things that we're looking for in the place that we're going to be checking out is internet speeds. Are they stable?
Yeah.
Are they fast enough?
And another reason we I mean, yes, we're born there and from there and a citizen there, which is amazing, benefits and all the things that come along with that, but it's also Eastern Standard Time, which is what we are.
Right.
So that's beautiful. We don't have to change. If we were going to be in Spain, we would not be starting until 3:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, big change.
Big change. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we daylight savings right now, so we're an hour off.
true.
But 1 hour compared to 6.
It's okay. I think they have it too.
The live that we were watching the other night was 1 hour off.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, then they
Yeah,
don't
we were
they
at
don't
6
have it.
o'clock when it was 5 for them.
Okay.
So the next topic is staying ahead with continuous learning. So continuing education. And I've always been the type of person who never wants to stop learning.
Same.
And being in the digital space, I kind of had to always be learning and adapting.
Well, Google's always making changes. Like there's just that is a world that is constantly moving and changing. So we have to stay up to date.
I'm
There's
driven
a
by
lot of
that.
things. Yeah, you are.
I'm driven by the changes because if we can get ahead of the game and make changes and pivot for our clients, and then they start ranking and their competition isn't, that's a win for everybody.
Then we're able to be there for them as as we should be.
Right. So SEO and digital marketing, we just talked about that, how it's constantly changing.
Yep.
And so I subscribe to, I think, 5 or 6 of the top feeds. So I constantly every day get 20 or so articles about what's changing in our landscape. And I don't read through every single one of them, but I read through maybe about half of them.
The ones that are relevant, you do.
Yeah. And, that's just part of our gig. There might be some industries where status quo is status quo. Maybe in accounting is accounting. I don't know if I'm an accounting person, but for us, always changing, always evolving, always having to make changes and go back and update.
Absolutely.
In addition to that, we also are taking additional courses for certification. So there's a couple of academies that allow us to go in and become certified, which then allows us to say we are a partner of them. So Google has a partnership program. HubSpot, who is one of the top, if not the top CRM.
There's a lot of them. Yeah.
They have a academy that has a certification program that now we can be a partner with them. So constantly finding these so that we can not only learn the cutting edge things, but also say, we're serious. These
Yeah,
companies, these high reputable companies like Google, say that we are a trusted partner of
absolutely.
theirs. Yeah.
Right. Uh, she has her toilet paper roll.
Oh, she's for some reason wants to play. Why don't you go lay down, sweetie? Can I see it? Here you go. And the last item is streamlining operations
Okay.
for efficiency.
Pardon me. One moment. Uno momento.
Yep.
Place. Good girl. Down. Down. Okay.
It's always during this time she
Go
gets a
for it.
little streamlining operations and efficiency. So one of the things we did as the principals of our company is we set up weekly strategy meetings, and the idea is to hold ourselves accountable
Yes.
to the things we say we're going to do, but also uncover what worked and what didn't
Yeah.
work, right? Because we don't want to continue doing something if it's not working.
And we're not time wasters. That is
No.
something you and I really despise,
Yeah.
I think.
Maximize
We
time.
want to maximize time.
So we try to be really efficient, really, but also lean. But accountability is something in the corporate world that has been ingrained in me.
Yeah.
And as much as I did not like the corporate environment, um, there was a lot I took from it, and I was able to say, "Ooh, this works really well. Let's implement this. This not so much. Let's
Yeah.
not do that, or find a better version that works for us that still
Yeah.
accomplishes the
Those are
same
those
thing."
stepping stones. Whatever we've had before, what did we learn from it so that we can put it in place
And our
now?
experience there is
Yeah.
what's fueling it for
Yeah.
sure. So we do weekly meetings. We, talk about anything that needs to be shifted. If we have, one of our team members that's onboarding or one that's not working out and we have to figure out how to coach them out, that comes up in our conversation. So really making sure that we're optimizing every labor hour, every dollar, every effort to its fullest so that we're not wasting
Yeah.
time or effort.
I have, a little notebook that I use where I literally write down everything that we've talked about, and it stays on the table. And this is where we meet. Our dining room is like, we use it for so much for work as well as to sit down and have our meals together. But I write it all down. And so you just say, hey, what did we talk about last week? And we just kind of go over it, and it keeps it fresh for us. And then we don't miss anything that way.
So that's one of the
Maybe
things.
some old school, but
That's one
it
of the
works.
things that you've learned about me is that once I've said something, it's gone.
It's gone.
And so by documenting it, that allows us to not miss anything. And then also our division of labor, right, in financial management. So we don't really have titles. We just we have like the things that we are the king and queen of all the things. We have um, lots of duties and responsibilities, but we're all over the place in the sense that you can't sum up everything I do into one title and then
Right.
sum up everything you do into one title because realistically there's 7 departments and we touch on all of them. But we did find some things that I'm just not good at that you're better at.
And
There's
vice
there's
versa.
things that I excel at that you just either dislike or don't want to do or aren't in your
Yeah.
wheelhouse. And so we've figured out our division of labor of who's responsible for what, and then our weekly syncs allow us to then come together and put it all in one place.
And know who's doing what and check in with each other. And, I can say thank you right now. And I know I say this to you all the time, but you always show up for me if I'm ever stuck or have a problem. And I think that that's one of the things that makes this work. And it doesn't, our relationship isn't compromised.
Right.
We go into business mode. This is how it is. And we treat each other with a lot of respect and a lot of gratitude. And for any couple that is out there and you guys are entrepreneurs, give us some feedback. Tell us how it's going for your business.
Yeah. What
you guys are doing? What are the things that you guys maybe struggle with or you're doing great at? We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. I think that's awesome. And I'd love to hear feedback from others that are doing it too, because I'm sure there's stuff we can learn and adapt
Absolutely.
as well. And then on the finance side, so we sat down. I don't know if you can see behind it. Yeah, you can see behind Amy. We got our word of the
day, word of the episode.
Yeah. It stays up all week long, but that's a chalkboard that we we have there. We painted a chalkboard on our wall, and we sat down and we said, what are our mandatory finances? What do we need in order to
Yeah.
survive? What do we need in order to, do well? And what do we need in order to thrive? And we put together goals, financial goals, but also uh, gathering new client goals and
Hmm.
what their, what that means financially for us.
And how much goes right back into the business, because reinvesting is important. Like
Reinvestment.
all the things we got to talk about and really break it all down.
Yeah. And so now at any given time, we know what we're driving towards,
Mm.
right? And we'll have our goal, we'll have our stretch goal. Um, but also, we just chat it with a CPA to find out when it comes to being business
Yes.
owners, what does that landscape look like for us as far as, putting aside for taxes and, all of those pieces. So
Right.
we not only did what we thought was right, but we also validated that with a professional who does this for a living,
Hmm.
right? So we
Let the specialists and the professionals, let them. We are to a point where we don't want to take that stuff on. We would rather
don't get
just
me wrong, I love knowing the information. It
absolutely,
doesn't mean I want to do the work that comes
absolutely,
along with it.
yeah,
So yeah, that's about everything when it comes up to our business, about what we're doing. Tech, all good. Working with our local chamber of commerce. I think we've already let them all know that we're going to be gone for
yeah.
this year, 3 months of the year.
2024 into 2025.
So we're setting the expectation. We're doing everything we need to do, but we're also staying ahead by doing research. We're constantly
Mhm.
still researching and learning with continuing education of what are others doing that are in the place that we're looking to get to, and what are the things that that's part of the reason why we do this podcast, is that it's hard to find anybody who started documenting before they
Before
actually did,
they
right?
always wait
like
until
hey,
yeah,
let's move to Costa Rica, and then they start talking about what happened once they've moved there, but
yeah,
nobody talks about what it took to get there. And we wanted to do this for ourselves so that we had this documentation of what is it that we're doing in order to get there.
mhm,
And we quickly decided to share it with the world as well.
yeah.
uh, but there's not a ton of resources on that, so getting a lot of those pieces in place. We've been talking a little bit about last episode we were talking about where do we fly from, where do we have to drive to, what does packing look like.
There's so much involved with this. Um,
Yeah.
just a ton. And if you are somebody that already has a remote job, like you can work from anywhere, congrats, because that whole entrepreneurial piece, you don't have to worry about that. You're getting that paycheck, you have so forth and so on. So that's really, really good for somebody that wants to work for corporate, and can work from anywhere.
Right. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, what we do is we help others with our
Yes.
services, but we're also supporting and enabling our lifestyle for our goals. And
Yeah.
the fact that we can do that with our studios is just a blessing.
It is really amazing. The freedom that we have is just incredible. Like, I'm gonna go pick up my new glasses as soon as I leave, when we're finished here. Like, I can
Right.
just, go and do. I'm not stuck at a job where I have to ask for time off or I don't get paid if I'm not there, all those kinds of things. And I can work at 7 o'clock at night if I have an hour
Yeah.
to do so. So it's really nice.
There was a couple of questions that were posted, and we're going to answer them directly on the videos, but I think we wanted to address them here just to elaborate a little bit more,
Yeah,
because there's only
absolutely.
so much you can pluck out, right? We want to jump into it. So we had somebody who asked about
It's the same person for both.
same person, yeah. So I'm just going to read them verbatim, and then we'll just chat a little bit
So
for
Gabrielle,
each one. So Gabrielle, by the way, I don't think you gain your accumulation towards your citizenship if you leave and go back to America for extended amounts of time. I mean, you can't just go to Colombia for 90 days in a year, gain the accumulation, and
and
towards your
have it
citizenship, I think
right.
it restarts, cancels, or out
Hmm.
completely. Um, True. And I apologize if I think that's what we were alluding to. That's not what we were trying to get to. I think what we were really talking about, and you want to, again, we're talking talk to the pros, but next to legal, They are a team that can
They're
definitely,
awesome. They're bilingual. They're exceptional.
they can definitely, clarify the specifics of this.
But this is straight from their website,
So they say the Colombian marriage visa is meant for those foreigners who have married a Colombian national
which I have.
or permanent resident. So I'm a Colombian national, and you've married me. Visa allows for foreign spouse you to live and work in Colombia for up to 3 years,
Mhm.
and it also allows the foreigner you to accumulate time for a Colombian residency after 3 years long. So I can come and go, please.
Mhm.
You are on a tourist visa,
Mhm.
meaning 90 days, and you
Mhm.
can request an extension. But if you start for the marriage visa, that allows you to stay for 3
3
years.
years.
And after that 3 years, the time you stay under that will then accumulate towards
Right.
residency if you choose to become a Colombian citizen.
Mhm. But there is a
Right?
caveat in there.
Okay, so I'll keep reading on. So that's what we were kind of getting
Yes.
at is because Chad can come and go as he pleases, if we decided we wanted to stay for longer term than 90 days, 6 months, a year, the marriage visa is what's in your best interest
Yes.
because it gives
And
you 3 straight
eventually,
years.
absolutely, I'm going to do that.
The marriage visa allows a foreigner to work, stay, and study in Colombia, like any other type of Colombian migrant visa. In order to keep your visa, you cannot stay out of Colombia for more than 6 consecutive
Right.
months. To obtain a Colombian marriage visa, the foreigner, you must show evidence of a genuine relationship, proof of financial stability. With the possibility of reapplying, the marriage visa allows you to apply for a Colombian residency after holding it for 2 years.
Yes.
So if we let me go back to this. In order to keep your visa, you cannot stay out of the country for more than 6 months, which means in order for your marriage visa to stay valid,
We have to go back.
we could come to America and visit family or
Yes.
whatever, but it can't be beyond 6
6 months. Correct.
because that essentially means Colombia's become our primary. So once we get to that point of Colombia being
And
our
we
primary,
will eventually. Right.
then we just have to keep in mind how long
Mhm.
we come back to the States.
Yes, it's very important that you make sure that you're also not waiting to the last minute if you need additional time there or you have to complete any paperwork. Don't wait until the last minute. I would rather pay someone like Nexco Legal to help me and take care of it. You can absolutely do it yourself, but I don't know the language well enough,
Right.
and their stuff changes. So it's common for Latin America for things to change. So
Yeah.
they're going to be the ones up to staying up to date. So just highly recommend.
Yeah.
If you don't know the language well, if you're not fluent, and can translate easily, make sure you get some help with that.
Yeah, so amazing comment from Gabrielle, and thank you so much because it gave us an opportunity to clarify, but also dive a little bit deeper into what the specifics are,
Right.
so that not only we know, but we can also educate anybody who's coming across
We have to
this.
have our marriage license here in the States apostilled for that. Like there's a lot that goes into the marriage visa.
Right. Gabrielle also asked a question: do you know if Colombia requires health insurance for a marriage visa, and if you have a kid with your Colombian spouse, so if you had a kid with me, and is it good to share that with them or use as evidence of marriage? So here is the write-up that you have, which of course you can elaborate as you need
Sure.
to. So it's our understanding that to enter Colombia, you must have health insurance, no matter if you're visiting or staying long term. So our suggestion and answer is to have it regardless.
I mean, you have to absolutely.
You can contact Nexo Legal or a Colombian health insurance company like Sura.
EPS.
They
Yep,
can
that's
give
the
you
EPS.
like
Mhm.
the actual
Absolutely.
requirements.
Well, yeah, yes, but if you want to know about it specifically for a marriage visa,
Mhm.
I didn't see anywhere on there where you had to, but if you'll read further down,
Yep.
another caveat.
So things change in Latin America in general. So always look for the latest updates, if any, for things like this. According to Nexo Legal, the requirements listed on their website show that other documents can be requested, and that could be whether the government deems appropriate for a marriage visa. So it seems like they've kind of left it open, saying
Absolutely.
there is the possibility to have separate documentation that could accommodate that requirement.
Right.
So awesome. I love that we've gotten some comments, some feedback,
Absolutely.
and we talk about accountability. That forces us to keep us honest. which is great. You know, we've said it a couple times. We can't say it enough. We are not the authority or
No.
pros on this, but we do try to do as much research as possible to formulate what works best in our situation.
Right.
But that's not going to be fact for every
Everybody.
situation. So
Yes.
definitely make sure you connect with the entities that be.
Absolutely, because the piece about the child,
Yep.
I have that I
Right.
am not the authority on that. So definitely the attorneys at Nexco Legal, or if you find another, any other attorneys in Medellin or
And
Bogota or wherever you're
and there
from.
could be a difference between whether
Yeah.
the child is which country it was born in.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
situations, and I'm sure there's an answer for each
Mm-hmm.
situation. But
Yeah.
we definitely want to recommend Nexo Legal. Say it over and over and over again. Um, Bilingual, like you say, so
Yeah.
easy
To
to
have
work with.
somebody, yes, if you're coming from the United States or you just only speak English, get somebody that's bilingual. And also, you got to have health insurance anyway to be in Colombia. But I guess my opinion, just have it anyway, right? In case they do need something showing that you have health insurance, um, you have it,
Yeah.
right?
And when we traveled, we had two sets of protection.
Yes.
Um, we had one that was through one company that was part of our booking, and then we also bought additional, which was more on the trip side, but also covered us. And if anything, we were above and beyond.
Right.
But we found it to be quite easy to get the
Yeah.
minimum requirements in order to be there. So, okay, next week we are going to be talking about how to balance work and play. Work and play. This has proven to be a challenge for us in the past. So tune in next week and
Yeah.
check out what Chad and Amy are doing to balance those two things in a healthy way so that we
Yeah.
can have our dream life.
It is. It's really important. So, guys, until next time, keep expanding your horizons and living beyond the desk. I remembered it this week. So, have an extraordinary week.